So continuing on with 1.2, extending the number line. Now we're going to get into inequalities. So if we have, like this one where it says x is positive. So if I write out my number line here, 0, 1, 2. That's good. So we got some numbers in here, right? Positive and negative. All right, so it says x is a positive number. That means some number we don't know is positive. Is 0 a positive number? No. So basically, it's going to basically be any number to the right of 0. So we're going to put what we call an open circle at 0. That means it doesn't include that point. And we're going to shade on this number line anything that goes to the right. Now, some teachers do what they call shade. Some people will teach it where they draw a line going up and over like that. It's the same thing. Okay? But that basically means all these numbers that are shaded in can make this true because that's a positive number for x, right? So there's more than one answer. Okay? And that's the biggest thing with an inequality. That's your greater than, less than, equal to. There's always more than one answer. Right? When you have an equal to, there's only one answer. Right? Okay. So let's look at the second one. So x is less than or equal to negative 5. So if I draw my number line here, I'm not going to put a ton of numbers in here. 2, 3. It's hard to fit all this in. Okay, here's negative 5, right? It says less than or equal to, which means it can include negative 5, right? Because negative 5 is equal to negative 5, right? So now we're going to put actually a shaded circle because I can include that point, unlike the top one where I don't include the point. And now we're talking about less than. So which way in the number line do the numbers get smaller? Which direction do I go? Left. I go this way. And again, you can either shade or you can draw that little line up and go that way. Again, it's the same thing. So you're telling me all these numbers to the left, including negative 5, would make that equation true, that inequality true. Negative 5 is equal to negative 5, and then all those numbers, negative 6, negative 7, negative 8, and everything in between, are also less than negative 5. Okay, that's what inequality is. All right. What about for number 3? Who wants to take a shot at number 3? Let's draw. I always go at least 1 or 2 past the number because there's a lot of lines on here. So it says x is less than negative 7. So on my number line, where's negative 7? Lily? So are we going to have a circle that's open or closed? There's no equal to, right? So it's got to be an open circle at 7, negative 7, because that means it's not going to include that point because it says x is less than negative 7. So that means any number that's less than negative 7, not equal to. So which way are we going to shade, Lily? Less than. That means negative 7 is bigger than any other number. Yeah, we got to shade to the left. We talk about less than. Remember, less, when numbers get smaller, we go left on the number line. When numbers get greater, we have to go right on the number line. All right? Aiden, why don't you try number 4? Right. If remember they used to refer to it as an alligator mouth, but if the inequality is opening up to the negative 7, that means that this number is bigger than any of the missing numbers. So that's the bigger number. So the point is always going to where the numbers are smaller. All right? If it was the other way around, now it's saying x is greater than negative 7, which means that the line would go the other way. So how about this? So how about x is greater than or equal to 5? So where's 5, Aiden? Is it going to be an open or closed circle? Because it's equal to, you got the line underneath it, right? Now, which direction are we going to go? Any number greater than. Which way the numbers get bigger? To the right. Okay. Good. And again, how do you know if you're right or wrong? Pick any number in the shaded area and put it in for x. So pick 8. Is 8 greater than or equal to that 5? It's greater than, right? It's not equal to, but it is greater than. So if it makes it true, you know you shade the right way. If you shade the wrong way and put in a 0 here, is 0 greater than 5? No. So that's why you know you shade the wrong area. That's how you can kind of check it. Okay? All right, so let's take a look at number 5. 6 is less than x. So we have to put a circle at 6. Who can tell me if it's open or closed? Anthony. It's open because there's no equal sign underneath. So over here at 6, open circle. So basically 6 is less than x. So that means all the x ones are bigger than 6, right? Which way are we going, Anthony? So if I go left, is 5, is 6 less than 5? No. So that wouldn't work, is it? So we should go right. So let's take the next point, 7. Is 6 less than 7? Yes, so now we know we're going the right way. Make sense? Start to get it a little bit? So? All right, let's put 0, -1, -2. Okay, so -1 is less than or equal to x, meaning -1 small. So what cell, what circle are we going to have at -1? Open or closed? And here, remember up here we had an open circle, up here we had a closed. Do you see the pattern? Shaded in circle or open circle? Closed, because it's equal to. That means because -1 is less than or equal to -1, right? It's equal to. It's not less than, but it's equal to. Now, which way are we going to shade? And then think about it, before you even shade, try a number on each side. Which one is true? Which way do you think we're going to shade, Sal? If I plug -2 in here, is -1 less than or equal to -2? Or if I plug 0 in, is -1 less than or equal to 0? Which one makes sense? It's less than 0, right? 0 is to the right, which means we shade to the right. Very good. Okay, that's how you can test it.
Number 5 should be going that way.
No. They're saying any number is bigger than 6. 6 is less than any number.
If that's going that way, then should 4 be going the other way then?
No, 4 is going greater than. These are going, 5 and 6 are going the same direction. They just turned it around. See how they flipped it? The inequality is opening up to the x. That means that these numbers are bigger than 6. All they did was change the order. They just basically took number 4 and flipped the whole thing. All right, so now in part F, it says the values of x that satisfy the inequality, then graph a solution. We got to find them. So this is like kind of solving an equation, but now instead of an equal sign, whoop, I just moved my whole graph here. Hold on. Let me, okay. So just treat this like an equal sign. So again, when we solve for an inequality, right, I want to get x by itself. So to get this 5 over here, I got to subtract 5 to both sides, right? Remember, you guys had a little exposure to this last year, right? So what's 0 minus 5? -5, right? So x, now they're saying, so x is greater than -5. So if I graph all my points, okay, so -5 is here, right? So is it going to be an open or closed circle? open, right? Because there's no equal to. Okay, so it's an open circle. Now, where are all my points that are greater than negative 5? Which direction? To the right. And that's where we would shade. If you want to go that way or that way, I'm just drawing both of them just so you see them. You don't have to write both of them, by the way. You can either draw the line that goes up and over, or you can shade it, whatever you like to do. Okay. Now, look at the next one. So, when I add 1 to both sides, right? Because negative 1 plus 1 is 0. That's how I get rid of it. So I get x is less than or equal to 1. Okay? Meaning 1's the biggest number. So all the other numbers are smaller than that, right? Because that's where the inequality opens up to, is always the biggest number, right? All right. So let's put some numbers down. Okay, so 1 is right here. Is it going to be open or closed? Because it's equal to, right? So shaded in circle or closed circle. Now, which way are we going to go? See, over here, the bigger numbers were opening up to the x's, right? So that's why I went to the right. Now it's opening up to 1, which means every other number should be smaller than negative 1, or 1, right? Which is to the left. There we go. Starting to get it a little bit? Hopefully it's starting to make the homework at least make some sense now. Okay, so now when we get something like this, 3x is less than 9. All right, so if I want to get rid of 3, remember, up here was nice and easy because we could just add or subtract because nothing was with the x. But now you're saying 3 times x is less than 9. So to get rid of that 3, I have to do its opposite, which is divide. So when I divide by 3, 3 over 3 is 1. That's where we can just write x. And I get x is less than 3 because 9 divided by 3 is 3, right? Now, here's something for you. If we ever have something where we divide by a negative, I'm just going to write it here. Let's say this was negative 3x. There's a special rule with inequalities. When I divide or multiply by a negative, the inequality flips. See that? So this would be, we start off with negative 3x is less than 9. Our answer would be x is greater than negative 3. So anytime you multiply or divide by a negative number, the inequality sign, or in elementary school, you used to call it the alligator mouth, turns. Okay? But this doesn't turn here, right? Because the 3 is positive. So where's 3 at? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, is it going to be open or closed circle? Open at 3. Now, which way are we going? You notice how see the inequality is open up to the 3. That means that's the biggest number possible. So we are going left. Okay. And then the next slide, I got some stuff for you to fill in your summary sheet. All right, on the summary on the bottom. You ready for it? No? Some people said no? Still copying?
So if x is to the right of
It has nothing to do where the x is. It has everything to do with where the inequality is pointing to. So if the open part of the inequality, whatever it's pointing to, that's always the bigger number. See, like over here, the x was always the numbers that were bigger. Down here, it was the 1 that was always the biggest number possible, which means we had to go left. Same thing over here, the 3 was the biggest number possible, so it had to go left. Okay? Let me pause this. All right, so for the summary. So it says a graph of an inequality shows all the possible answers. Okay, again, so this line here, all the possible answers, meaning there's more than one answer to an inequality. Okay? There's multiple answers. That's the big difference between an inequality sign and an equal sign. So less than or greater than, you see in parentheses, says use the open circle. So again, when you're graphing, your circle won't be shaded because we don't include those points. When we're talking about less than or equal to, which you can see the symbols, now your circle is shaded in because you're including that point. So that's the big thing to remember here with the inequalities.